Now, it's not quite the outcome you were looking for. You wanted a free transfer. Are you happy with this situation as it stands? I mean, are you satisfied with what's happened?
I suppose in terms of the motion as originally drafted, I think there's little point in continuing a debate when all the parties have come to an arrangement and agreement on the transfer of the building. So the main objective to retain the national ownership of a beautiful architecturally significant building for the nation, that has been achieved. So I must think that that's a good point. In terms of the fact that previously national heritage assets were transferred to MNH free of charge or for a token amount, I think that mainly they were transferred for free. That's maybe a discussion for another day. I find the wording in the official statement very interesting in how they describe how it's going to be managed. And it's a little bit unclear what the total investment is going to be from Manx National Heritage.
You said there it might be a debate for another day in terms of whether these sorts of assets should be transferred for safekeeping, if you like, at the hands of a heritage body for nothing. Do you believe that is the case? Do you believe they should be preserved and given to a body for free?
Manx National Heritage is the organisation charged with looking after the island's heritage, all kinds of heritage, for the Isle of Man and its people and for future generations. So it would be logical, make sense to me, that anything that would be counted as architecturally important or heritage of any kind be put under their guardianship. The fact that in this case it seems that they're paying from charitable trust funds up to £100,000 plus transferring another asset of sort of an office building on Kingswood Grove is curious because that hasn't happened before. But I don't feel that it's necessary to challenge that if all parties have agreed that in this case that is the way forward. And I think that there's also a debate in terms of the architectural heritage. Not every single building on the Isle of Man is a museum or a heritage presentation. So there's from this, with the term that they want it to be something to be a sort of a lively and attractive addition to Castletown, I'm wondering whether the future purpose of that building may be to a commercial let, or if it was me, it would make an ideal gin bar maybe with a lovely little old cells. But as long as it's publicly accessible, preserved to the suitable level it merits being a unique building and preserved for the nation for the future, people can access it, view it, so the architectural tourists can enjoy it, and perhaps the community can as well. It'll be very interesting to see what ideas come from both the community and from the heritage organisation as to what is the best future, short term or long term, for Castletown Old Police Station.
Does this set a precedent in future if a building does, if the government does come to the conclusion that it wants to get rid of a building which could have a historic significance, that if the charitable funds aren't available to buy it, that it could just be sold on the open market?
Well, the government again is saying that the same process will be in place. So whenever there is a building that is no longer needed for its original purpose, that's in government ownership, it will be offered to all departments and boards, and anybody can sort of pitch in and say if they've got a purpose for that building. Now, it's slightly different when it's transferred to the Heritage Trust. And again, in my mind, if it's of merit architecturally or historical significance, I don't feel that should come from charitable trust funds. But obviously in this case, for whatever reason, the transfer arrangement has been agreed between all parties. And the main thing is, the really important thing is the building is saved and it's going to be retained in public ownership, and it will have a purpose and it'll be an enhancement to Castletown's offering. So I think it's a win-win.